years or so.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to rehash that in a few minutes.
Oh boy, holy crap! You want me to mention that because I was at Duffy's in Deerfield for the book launching?
Really?
Yeah.
Mention everything.
And they had my poster above each urinal. That was like the highlight of my career. I swear to God. So
he's blowing content on us here, Yanni. Yanni's like,
wow.
Yanni's like, you got to mention that on the show.
This is good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we're live? We're live.
We're live.
We're live. Right. We're in action. Look at that. Okay. All right. You guys seriously are. So
is that how we're going to start this off?
Am I logged in on my phone now? It's what? You got it on the page. All right, so I don't have to worry about anything. All right, we're good. All right. Well, hey, we're live. How about that?
Good.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good, Dennis.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're rolling.
Glad we're here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. I'm going to read some notes here.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm going to read these notes, right?
Okay.
You gave me notes, right? But people sometimes give me notes, and I'm like, don't worry about the notes. We'll just talk, right, and hang out.
Okay.
These are some pretty good notes here, which I'm pretty impressed by. So I will get to those in a minute, right? I want to bring up a few things first before we say welcome to Connected by Water, Jim Chiefy, Mathie, right, and Julie Higgs, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to introduce you guys properly in a moment. I want to mention real quick because we're right into the last week of this. Or last week or two of the Pompano Beach Seafood Festival. I want to promote it one last time here while we still can. The goods are doing a lot of good.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And
both Kyle and John.
Yeah. By putting this thing together. Once again, we're looking forward to it. Connected by Water is going to be there and all set up we call our trailer the Minnow, and we'll be there in full support of everything that's going on. We're very excited, particularly about the way they changed the music up this year. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So if you have not purchased your tickets yet, for those of you listening and watching at home, please do so immediately right now so they can expect you.
I think the cool part about the music and the entertainment is, first of all, it's all local from Florida.
Yep.
There's no headliner
it's
anymore.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it'll be good stuff all day long. And they have two stages. North stage, south stage. So I think people are going to really enjoy the fact that it's kind of like the vendors are in the middle, the food's off to the one side, and you're right. I think logistically they've done a nice job. Laying it out. Yeah,
good.
Nice.
It's interesting too. And for those of you that are going to go to the event, you will have the opportunity to purchase.
Oh.
This is the sneak peek world premiere of. We put the artwork up on social media, but this is the shirt that we made for the event, and then everyone will be able to purchase it day of the event. And I believe it's either the Boy Scouts or the Kiwanis Club. One is responsible for the tickets of the event, and one's responsible for the shirt sales of the event. So one of them will be there selling. Yeah. Do you know which one?
No, I don't, but I know there's a dozen different charities that are involved.
Yeah.
And they're all local Pompano charities. So, I don't know who's going to be selling your shirts or, you did the artwork. So beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. We're excited. So that's the sample that we ran out there.
Julie is the mermaid. I mean, that's, you need to.
She's totally a mermaid.
You need to.
I think you just nailed it on the head.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I'm figuring out how we can segue this
into
Julie being here.
This is, we will. And so listen, I think you nailed it on the head with the mermaid thing because I love meeting people for the first time on the show. And this is the first time that we're meeting, but did a little research before, and when she was there sitting at the bar, she came before you. We got to talk a little bit, and I told her how impressed I was with just her social media and how robust the content of fish and fishing and spearfishing and diving is on her social media. So kudos to you for all your great accomplishments, which I'm going to read some of them now.
Okay.
Right. So Julie. So for those of you listening and watching at home, so you understand who's sitting in front of me. She grew up spending her summers in the Bahamas with your dad on a sailboat.
Yes.
Right? You compete in spearfishing tournaments of all sizes, all over the place, like wherever that takes you, primarily California, Hawaii, Costa Rica, Panama, Dry Tortugas, Mexico, Bahamas, and of course, our beloved Florida.
Sure.
Right? Sure.
Mostly Florida.
Mostly Florida, right? You currently have 7 IUSA women's world
Correct.
records, right? Which
Thank
congratulations.
you.
Congratulations.
And you can only get those world records freediving, by the way.
Freediving.
Yes.
Nice.
Badass. I don't know if I can say that on the radio.
You can say whatever
Badass.
you want. You can say this is a free
There
global,
you go. Gotcha.
free state of Florida format.
Yeah.
So, and you are the current national champion for the women's top mixed team. And you're going to be going to nationals at the end of April. And you and I were discussing that at the bar earlier, that it's in a lake in Arizona.
Yes.
Which I thought was like, wow, really? I never would have thought that any sort of marine kind of competition like that would be in a lake in Arizona. But
yeah, I keep forgetting it's in a lake. I tell people, I'm going to Arizona. They're like, there's no ocean.
Right.
I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going in a lake.
Which is interesting because in Florida, you cannot spearfish in any freshwater lakes.
Yes, it's illegal.
It's illegal.
is it really?
Yeah. So the only place we can
You can bow hunt, though, but you can't.
Yeah, absolutely. But Arizona, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be cold water, people traveling from all over the United States to compete. I know a lot of people who've done this tournament before, and they say it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of trigger pulling, a lot of fish. It's a 2-day tournament. We're going to be there for a week, scouting, meeting people, just seeing the beautiful lake. Apparently, it's very scenic.
Cool.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited.
And you're telling me that's a numbers game, this tournament.
Yeah, so most tournaments you weigh the fish and you get a certain amount of points per fish and then a point per pound.
Mm-hmm.
Some have a cutoff. All tournaments are different, but this one specifically, it's going to be mostly carp. Carp is the numbers fish. So instead of weighing all of these fish, it's 1 point per carp, 2 points per walleye. I haven't gone over all the nitty gritties of the tournament yet because it's still a few weeks out, but
Gotcha.
it's a numbers game. It's as many times as you can pull the trigger. It's going to be a lot of fish. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, gotcha. All right. So your carp, they're like your yards and first downs, right? And then your walleyes, your touchdowns, right? So,
Yeah.
So you got to get down the field before you can really. Yeah. Cool.
That's right.
Very cool. One interesting thing is that we were talking also beforehand about how I don't know why I have so many firefighter friends, but you are both firefighters because you once a firefighter, always a firefighter, right?
I've been retired
say, right?
15 years.
15 years retired.
And
this is why they got the nickname Chiefy, right?
Yeah.
Primarily?
It involved, like sharks and jaws. And
How? Tell me that.
I was doing a little diving off here.
Okay.
And we got into a shark frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
And we survived.
Mhm.
Okay. I survived.
Obviously.
Yes. I'm still here. Got everything. And we watched Jaws for entertainment that evening. And the boys nicknamed me Chiefy because I was a division fire chief.
Oh.
Right?
Brody.
And you remember, yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Chiefy, get me this, get me that. So that was and then after that, I my 29-foot CV, right, is named Chiefy. And that's how the Chiefy
gotta love that 29
got it
CV,
going.
right?
Gotta love it.
Nice.
It still runs, knock on wood, with Josh Hodge. I love it, buddy. I love it.
Josh is the man.
Yeah,
for
Josh
sure.
is the man.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
So I'm going to read up a little bit on you.
Okay.
Because you were very good at providing notes for me. Right? I want to just say that, yes, you are a retired division chief. 15 years ago, you said retired.
Right.
So thank you both for your service, by the way. And I know a lot of people just say that for military, but I also say that for first responders because you do service the community. So we really appreciate it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, like both of you guys.
Thank you.
But one of the things I did want to discuss was you transition from firefighter to diver, fisherman, author, YouTuber, writer for the Sun Sentinel, the Deerfield Beach Magazine, the New Pelican, the Observer. You're a television personality. You are a radio show contributor and an all-out waterman.
Yeah.
Take me through this metamorphosis, so to speak.
I was fortunate enough to have a great career in Deerfield Beach. Started in 1977. I don't think Julie was even born.
Like I thought I was like a nonstop overreacher, and I read this, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy. When do you stop?
And one of the things I tell people, because a lot of guys will retire and they'll go up to Tennessee or North Carolina and Georgia and enjoy life and all that stuff. I knew I wanted to dive because I love to dive, and I dove when I was in the fire service, a firefighter, paramedic. That's what we did. You know, it was enjoyable. But then I said, man, I gotta figure out a way to dive when I'm retired and enjoy it, and not to be a job, because I've already worked for a living. My famous expression is work is a 4-letter word. Okay. So, you know, and Julie can understand. We've seen a lot of things in our life of our career that you get to realize that life is very short. Life can be changed in a moment. Yeah. So that's one of the beauty of working what we do, to realize I want to do what I want to do. I want to enjoy that. And that was it. I just, you know, I didn't think I was going to write a book, let alone 2 or 3 books. But I really wasn't a writer. I just was more of a technical guy, you know, hey, write this memo and all that stuff. But I was like, oh, friends of mine would say, hey, you should write a book. Oh, how do I write a book? Okay. Just kind of continue on with that, and writing for the newspaper and magazines. And it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I think of it as therapy. Yeah. Right? It is. You know, it's sort of like gives you that time.
That's what this show is for me. Yeah. Really. I mean, instead of like paying a therapist, or I just say, hey, let's do a podcast. Let it all out.
But that's a great idea. Why not? Yeah. You know, and I've been diving well over, 30 plus years, and meet great people like Julie, who just kind of come into my life and go, oh, this is great. And I affectionately call, like Julie, Chiefy crew members. Okay. You know, it's sort of a thing.
So explain to me the crew members, right?
Okay.
And then she's obviously a crew member.
But you have to bring good beer. Okay. But Julie doesn't drink.
I'm going to take notes.
Okay. Julie doesn't drink.
Bring good beer.
But, right, that's how you get on the Chiefy, is you bring good beer. Right? Okay. And we all...
I'm writing it down.
Everything we do is we hunt. That's all we do. Whether it's, lobster season, we go after lobster. That's probably our
claim to fame.
Yeah, claim to fame. So thank you. When Julie, it's fun. I mean, we're freaking, hey, the bunch over there, bunch there, right? I mean, right? We're kind of fun doing that, right? And then we get to spear some fish, which is good. Lionfish occasionally, and so it's to me, it's an enjoyable part. Now, as far as the crew, I enjoy having a wide variety of people.
What is the crew? Like, is it like the cult following?
Well, I wouldn't say a cult following.
Because I went on your website, right? Okay, and I'm like, what is the Chief? Because I never understood like the Chiefy crew. So I look on the website, I'm like, oh my God, there's all these people.
All these people. Right. You see that? So they brought beer. I gave them a free hat. And I said to myself, shit, I mean, these hats cost a lot of money. Okay. Right. So I got to figure out a way to make money. Right. That's why I wrote the books. Okay.
So let's talk about the book for a second. Catching the Bug, and this is the second edition. Right? And the first edition did well.
10 years ago, I sold out, which is remarkable in itself. Yeah.
And this is the second edition. You said it's all different in here.
Yeah. A whole different layout. Okay. I was very fortunate to have Steve Waters as a good friend of mine. Who is,
I love Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the premier top-notch guy. You know, excellent. And he's edited both of my books. Yep. And so he was like, okay, we clean this up, clean that up. And I tell you, it's kind of divided into 3 sections: how to find the lobster, how to catch the lobster, and then how to eat the lobster. And but there's 20 chapters in there, and they're all stories. They're all Chiefy stories and you'll see most of the Chiefy crew members are in there with pictures and stories, and it's an enjoyable, hey, how to do it. Which, when I started looking for a book on how to catch lobster, there's a lot of technical stuff out there, but nothing that was really simplistic. That was a lot of fun, pictures, right? Fun. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why we're doing it.
That's exactly the whole point, why we're doing it. Right.
So you, you told me you grew up in the Bahamas.
Yes.
And when did you first start like really finding the passion underwater?
So my dad had me in the pool ever since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 5 years old, he would strap me to his belly and we would buddy breathe. And
Come
we
on.
would go scuba diving.
Really?
So I guess that's where it started.
Oh my
when I was
God,
5.
she is a mermaid.
And her father was a captain for Palm Beach County.
Yes, he was
firefighter.
also a firefighter.
Yeah.
Palm Beach County.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
That's where my buddy Ryan is. That's why you kind of chuckled when I said that. Oh, it all makes sense now.
So there's a connection there.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
So, yeah, when I was 5, I was doing that with my dad. When I was 7, I made my first Bahama trip with my dad over on our 33-foot Hunter. It's a
Mhm.
small sailboat. We developed a reputation over there for being daddy and the girls. Because it was strange for a single dad to have 2 young girls and cross an entire ocean with, that's it.
Strange for them.
Right.
Not for
Should
you,
we
right?
mention Marilyn, your sister?
My sister is the
Okay,
other.
we got to mention her. Okay, she's an RN, by the way. Really cool.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's part of the Chiefy crew as well.
Gotcha.
She
Can I
loves
be,
the
can I be
divers.
part of the TV crew?
You can. You have to bring good
Bring
beer.
I'm bringing rum.
Rum works. Just we
Okay.
have to, keep it on the boat. Okay.
Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. I want to
Go ahead,
expose.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Hold the thought real quick.
Sure.
Because I just realized someone's over there on the other camera thinking, oh, God, he didn't mention me yet. He's not going to mention me yet. And my good buddy Steve Siegel over there behind the bar. How you doing, Steve?
All good, Dennis.
You're good?
Yep.
All right, so he is over there, and I want to give a shout out to the Friel fishing team, which is the fishing team of our beloved sponsor, Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, right? And you guys had a good Saturday.
We crushed it on day 2.
So what place did you take on Saturday? A little
Took
closer to the mic.
We took second place daily on Saturday. We wound up 12 sailfish on the day Saturday.
Wow.
Nice. And a lot of people don't realize that he's a. I mean, I don't know what the proper term is if you say master diver, but he's excellent at what he does. So I hear that's a word on the reef, right? Yeah.
Depends who you ask,
I
Dennis.
was trying to embarrass him.
Then his name of his boat is Relentless.
Right.
So it's always good to have a guy like that.
Yeah.
When you need like 2 more lobster to get
I hear
your
he's an
limit.
animal.
Oh, he's an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. He crushes it.
Yeah.
Very
Proud Chiefy crew member.
I've heard
Oh.
stories. So, all right, Julie.
Yeah.
So you're strapped to the belly of your father at the age of 5, going down the reefs, and so where in the Bahamas you going?
We've been everywhere.
Okay.
Mostly Grand, but we've done the Exumas, Eleuthera, the Berries, all parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Since my dad was a firefighter, he would work a lot for other people during the year and then take almost the whole summer off. So our little sailboat would go 6 miles an hour,
Wow.
and we would slowly make our way all over the Bahamas. And then at the end of the summer, we'd come home. And we did that pretty much every summer for almost my whole life.
Yeah, your whole life. All right. So you basically grew up
Yes.
underwater.
Yes.
For the most part, right? And you said you grew up in a Stewart area,
Yes.
right? And when did you start competing with all this? I mean, listen, I just really want to find out a lot about you because this is all fresh and new to me, like who you are and what you do. And I'm just mesmerized because I'm like, you talked about animal, like you too. Like you seem very relentless yourself. So take me through the whole thing.
So, yeah, I grew up going to the Bahamas, spearfishing. Over there, it's a pole spear, so I got really good at learning to get very close to fish.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do as much spearfishing here. It's just not very common to spearfish off a sailboat, I don't think, here. As I got a little older, I made some friends that spearfish here. I had a friend named Levi who was making Orion spear guns. He doesn't make guns anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we used to sit in his garage and we would make spear guns. And unfortunately, when you're very small, the best way to get your name out there is to donate your product
Trust me.
to tournaments.
I know
Yes.
how that goes.
Yes. So, in an effort to get his name out there, he was donating some of his guns. And he donated a gun to a tournament in Louisiana called the Helldivers Tournament.
The Helldivers?
Yes.
Hell divers. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
they dive
pretty.
the oil rigs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're
That's serious.
That's
very
hardcore,
serious
huh?
divers. Yes.
Hardcore. Yeah,
Wow.
they don't wear wetsuits. They wear overalls.
Come on.
Swear
What do you
to
mean
God.
overalls?
Overalls.
All right, listen, just full disclosure, right? We discussed a little bit before everything started how I used to kind of dive,
Okay.
All right.
All right.
right? And I don't really anymore. It's just a matter of circumstance. Just one thing led to another, and then I turn around and I look back. I'm like, wow, I haven't been underwater in years, right? And I want to get back down, so you guys are going to help me take care of that.
Of course.
So when you say overalls, are you talking about real overalls?
Real
You're talking about
overalls.
like bibs,
real
yeah?
overalls. These are country boys that are
They're going down on oil rigs,
hardcore
with a spear gun,
And
like in work boots, or they at least wear flippers.
No, they wear,
Like, let's go.
wear fins
All right.
and everything, but this is a whole different ball game.
Why are they doing overalls?
To give
Why?
you a mental picture, some of these fish on the oil rigs are so big, they carry a rope about 6 feet long that they tie to the oil rig and tie to their gun,
so
the fish can just wear itself out
Come on.
the oil rig.
This is big stuff.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
Like they poking yellowfin up there, like stuff like that.
They can.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of big amberjack.
Oh, they love amberjack.
They have all the fish we have here, but it's about twice the size up there.
Yeah. Actually, George Pavaroma was a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's been on the show countless amount of times. We call him a regular. He jokes every time he comes in. He goes, "Oh, I'm going to write my name on that chair," and I said, "Go for it." And he hasn't done it yet, but anyway. He swears that Venice, Louisiana is the best fishery, or is the best fishery in the continental United States, for sure.
I'd say that's probably true.
Yeah.
Have you?
I've yet to go.
I've never been up there.
I've yet to go.
Yeah,
I've never been yet.
We've
It's
only
insane.
primarily done Florida, Tortugas. West Coast is Naples, offshore Naples with Captain Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been playing up in Fort Pierce, which is where Julie lives.
That's your stomping ground.
That's right.
And
All right.
serious stuff up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we made it. We made a nice connection today. That connected by water thing.
Right.
Frying Pan Tower off of North Carolina.
Oh, right. All right.
Our
So
friend
talk
Richard,
to me about that.
Our friend Richard.
I don't think I got all that actually when we were talking about it. So take me through that again.
So the cool part was the Chiefy crew helped install the underwater camera at the Deerfield Pier.
Right.
I technically plugged it in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's got a windshield wiper. I found
It
out
does.
today.
Well, it's not like that, but it kind of goes around in a globe. Okay. But
Wait, what happened? Really?
it wasn't like this. It goes like this. Okay. It's
Sounds
knob.
very
What's it, a
technical.
ball?
It's a ball. Yeah, it's a globe.
Okay.
It's a globe.
Gotcha.
It's actually pretty cool because
All right.
the camera can turn 360 degrees.
Mhm.
You can manipulate it, the operator.
Who's controlling it?
The city.
Okay.
So they have to maintain.
So Mildred's back there behind the desk.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're actually pretty good at it.
Yeah,
They know what
sure.
they're doing. So the guy that we installed it with was this guy by the name of Woody out of North Carolina that built all the brackets and everything else. So he happens to be the guy that installed it on the Frying Pan Tower. Well, Richard, the owner of the Frying Pan Tower, surplus military Coast Guard equipment
Mhm.
that they needed back in the day to protect the Frying Pan Shoal so boats wouldn't run aground.
Okay.
Well, they didn't need it anymore. They sold it. So it was pretty cool. He told us a story about how he bid for it. He bought it for $85,000.
Come on.
I swear to God. So he lives on it. And
He lives on it?
he lives on it. Yeah. It's got solar power.
It's called Frying Pan,
Pan
Shoal.
Tower. Frying Pan Tower, Frying Pan Shoal. You Google it.
All right,
it comes
please,
right up.
everybody, look this
Yeah,
up
yeah.
because I'm going to look this up and I need to.
So he's got a camera down there, and so they constantly are bringing provisions back and forth. Well, I met
Okay.
Richard today
Right.
because he's down here with his wife and daughter getting certified with Dixie Divers at Dive Shop in Deerfield. you
Okay.
know. So
Yep.
yeah, it was a pretty cool little connection there, and I think it's going to work out really well. We'll make him a Chiefy crew member.
As long as he brings good beer.
As long as he brings good
as
beer.
long as he brings good.
Oh,
beer.
there it is. All right, so this is what. Oh, so wow.
Wow,
So there's like a whole. It's like
Mhm.
Stiltsville on steroids,
exactly.
right?
And you can
So-
you can
Can you see that? Is that in frame? We good? Yeah. A little closer. That's it right there.
yeah.
You good? Yeah.
Yeah, North
Wow.
Carolina. So you have some.
It gets up the
It-
water.
It gets up there.
Yeah.
So from his standpoint, he just kind of maintains it. He's formed a nonprofit to essentially run it,
Okay.
and people visit it. They spearfish, they dive it, they fish it.
And how far offshore is it?
30 miles.
30 miles
Yeah.
offshore. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, up there the shelf's a lot lower, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
only
like here
50
where
he's only in 50 feet of water.
50 feet, 30 miles off. You're
Yeah.
50 feet of
Yeah.
water. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's sort of like Naples when we go to Naples.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm 65 miles. Or what are we?
Yeah.
We're 65 miles off.
But this
It's
is
like
a real
90
ocean.
feet. Yeah. Yeah. This drops off.
All the people in Naples hate me for saying that now.
Well,
Sorry, Naples.
but that's why we have such great reefs here.
Yeah.
Great reef system.
Right.
You know, within a mile, I'm in 100 feet of water. Okay. Which pretty much, I mean, from a open water standpoint, maybe you have to have advanced and deep water stuff. 133, 132 is your max.
Okay.
So we're maxed out within a mile. So we have a lot of technical diving here. We have some great shore diving here. We have some great reefs. There's 3 distinct reefs here. So, I mean, you know, we've been hitting at that 45, 35, 45 foot stuff pretty regularly, huh, Julie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and done really well. Yeah.
I want to talk about passion for a minute, because I think that's evident at this table right now, talking to you guys, about most of the people we bring on to this show. It's fishing, traditional, conventional related, right? We talk a lot about clean water. We talk about conservation a lot, which obviously must be highly important to you. I'm assuming it is. It should be. And we talk a lot about the reasons why we do what we do, and the reasons why you call it a passion, you call it an addiction, or you can call it a purpose. So share with me a little bit what that means to you when I say the word passion. Like, what resonates with you? Because I'm kind of thinking, strapped to the belly of your dad at the age of 5, right? Taking Bahamas trips. I couldn't picture in my head. That's like kind of weird. I might have to draw a cartoon about it.
I would love that.
So, 7 years old, taking Bahamas trips in a 6 mile per hour sailboat. I don't think that you can come back from that. And what I mean is, like, that's laying a foundation.
Right.
Right. Take me through your adult life now and how that childhood upbringing continued on into a passion that makes you claim 6 world records and be in a national championship.
7.
7.
7?
So just
I thought
clarification. Sorry, Dennis.
7 world records.
Hey, listen, you know, I'm giving you a hard time.
No, everyone counts.
Absolutely.
If I had 1 world record, I'd be like, I got a world record. Everyone counts.
I don't
Are you
have a
kidding
world
me?
record, okay?
Serious, 7 world records. 7.
Yeah.
So take me through how that foundation building turns into a passion to where you just completely own it.
Well, like, where do you start?
Tough question. I know.
It
It's
is
a
a
tough question.
I think a lot of people ask me, why you want to be a firefighter? Is it because your dad's a firefighter? I'm like, well, no. A lot of it is I picked a career that allows me to have the lifestyle that I want.
Mm-hmm.
I work 9 days a month. And any day that I can, I'm checking the weather. I'm seeing where in Florida can I go diving? Who can I go diving with? What kind of diving can I do? Can I go in the river and it's shallow and that's the only place I can go? Do I go down south and go out with Chiefy because the Bahamas is blocking the swell and that's the only place it's flat? It's become a priority, and I've created a lifestyle where I can keep that a priority.
Mm-hmm.
It's every day. What am I going to do today? I'm in a relationship with a commercial spearfisherman, and we kind of have a joke. Like, every morning, I'm like, what's the adventure today? Like, I need adventures. I can't sit still. I need to be doing something. Or if we can't spearfish, can we fish? I can't sit still. What are we going to do today?
Mm-hmm.
What's my adventure for today? And for me, that's just what it's about. I don't want to waste any days. I want to be doing something. And I wouldn't consider myself spoiled. I'll do any kind of spearfishing. My boat is a little skiff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of friends like Chiefy who has really nice boats, and I like to go out with them. But I'm also just as happy to take my little 16-foot skiff behind my old RAV4 and go out for a couple hours, and that's fun too.
Mm-hmm.
It's all levels. It's a good way to spend the day and enjoy it with friends and bring home some dinner and bring fish into work, and it's just, I don't know.
I grew up on the other side of the tracks, and what I mean by that is I did not grow up with these quad outboard people, right? I went to Gibbons for high school, which is the local private high school. I'm not sure if you know what Gibbons is. Probably not. You're
Right.
You're a Martin County girl, right? So Gibbons is like, Beverly Hills 90210 kind of thing. Right?
Okay.
So I did not grow up like that by any stretch. But my parents made sure that we were in the Keys every summer, and that we were catching fish, and that we were underwater, and we were doing things the right way in Florida. So I thank them for, at the very least, that. My parents they raised us in a religious household. So when it came time for high school, I had two choices. You either go to St. Thomas or you go to Cardinal Gibbons, right? So I picked the one near the beach. And the first day I show up there, there's kids rolling in there with Porsches and all kinds of cars like that. And I'm just like, where the heck am I? So I get the whole skiff thing, because nothing impresses me more than when, you see those videos of the guys in the islands on the boat they put together with a shoestring and you're pulling in just a monster fish. And I'm like, see, you don't need quads, and you don't need Penn Internationals, and you don't need all this stuff to pull up a nice size fish. I mean, obviously it helps. You want to win in tournaments, you want to get that numbers game and all the other kind of thing. Yeah, obviously you need to do that. Spend $1,000 on bait. But what's most inspiring to me is when someone goes out there with their own two hands and makes it happen. And so I admire that greatly. Spearfishing is not something that I've ever done, but it's always been something that I've always admired.
Really good book, Catching the Spirit.
So that's the other book, Catching the Spirit, Mr. Segway. So this is the other book that Chiefy wrote, Catching the Spirit.
The ABCs of Spearfishing.
The ABCs of Spearfishing.
Right.
So if you want to know anything, and there's a very handsome picture of Chiefy on the back page, right?
Luckily, there's a lot of pictures. I've looked at all of the pictures.
So, Catching the Spirit is Chiefy's other book. Same question to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Right? This whole time that you're a firefighter and this division chief and this instructor at the Broward Community College and all these other things that you've done to service your community, you're underwater as well.
Yeah, most of the time. I think I've been diving 35, 40 years. Yeah. Kind of picked it up just from other guys in the fire service. We all kind of hung out together.
Right.
And I can't tell you all those stories because thank God that there were no cell phones and video cameras back then. But we would do a Key West dive trip and a bunch of guys having a good old time. But I think where I saw, when I retired, I was very fortunate. I was young. But if you're just going to retire and sit on the porch or you're going to watch Oprah reruns, that
ain't living.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really need to have purpose in your life. This helps me have purpose in my life. That's the way I look at it. For me to go out there, and I'll fish occasionally. I think I've caught at least one or two sailfish with Steve. Come on, will you?
Steve, how you holding up back there?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Chiefy can reel in a fish here and there.
Yeah, they have to remind
he's
me
a lot better with a spear gun than he is with a rod and reel, but he's okay.
It's okay, But I prefer underwater, and I think Steve likes being underwater too. There's just you never know what you're going to see, right? I mean. And the cool part is hanging with Julie. Like she uses the GoPro, I use a Para lens.
Right.
So we do a lot of videotaping together of,
and you guys both have pretty good YouTube platforms.
She's much better, but I'm still struggling with it. But she's really, really good at it.
Yeah.
The Chiefy crew, and you have Julie Higgs.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I've had a YouTube for about 2 years, and I put together a playlist of all my videos with Chiefy. So every dive I've ever done with Chiefy is recorded.
I didn't know that.
That's
really
true.
Oh, Dennis. All right. I got it.
If you want to get an idea of what you're getting into.
Yeah. I think you're skating the passion question, though, a little bit. Sorry to bounce it back to you, right?
That's okay.
Because here's the thing. Let me preface it like this.
All right.
Let me put it to you like this.
Yeah.
You and I recently met.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Right. And you came up. We had our big tailgate
It was
party
great.
here, right? Our
St.
anniversary party, St.
Patrick's
Patty's Day,
Oh,
right? You got to come next year.
Oh.
It's a blast. It
Sounds
really
like
is,
it.
right?
Yeah.
I always tell everyone it's my
food.
John Gotti moments when I
Yeah.
feed the neighborhood.
It was great.
Right? You don't have to drop a dime. You just come in and
Yeah.
and my buddy Jim Ruback's here with the amazing barbecue. Papa's Pilar had tons of rum that they offered for the party, and
Papa's
Raw Bar was there, and
Troy
and Cassie themselves showed up and were serving people.
Yeah.
The great friends of ours, and I thank them for that. So I always tell people that it's like my wedding, where people are just walking up to me and I feel like the day goes like that, and I don't get to talk to anybody really, So I'm just kind of
you have a lot you're responsible for.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I got the girls going, hey, what about this? Hey, we giving a discount on this? Or they're asking me questions
Right.
nonstop, and people are walking up to me, and everyone wants to have a conversation. So it's cool, right? And I love that. But the flip side is I don't really get to have any meaningful conversations with anybody, but which I love doing. This guy walks up to me, Dennis.
That's a great Chiefy impression.
I go,
And-
I look at him.
Videotape that one.
I look at him and I go, yeah. And he goes, Chiefy, just like that. I'm like, Chiefy. I'm like, everyone keeps saying that you got to meet Chiefy. You got to meet Chiefy. You got to have Chiefy on the show. And I'm like, and then he goes, yeah, everyone tells me the same thing about you. So I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah,
nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, you said, hey, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said
Yeah, that's it.
you'd be a rich man. But,
Yep.
My tagline is, do you know Chiefy? And there's actually a story to that, but I don't know if I can get into it. Hey, you know how there's 6 or 7 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon?
Sure.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Is that what his name is? The actor?
Yeah,
Oh,
6 degrees
sure.
from Kev Bacon.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
So usually if it's somehow connected by water, there's usually one.
We are all connected by water.
Correct. There
Right?
you go.
Rivers, lakes, streams, oceans.
Somewhere along the line.
We are all connected by water. No matter what we're doing politically, no matter what we're doing as a society.
Exactly.
Right? The one thing that brings us all together is the water and our passion for it.
Right.
Because, and the biggest example that I always give everybody is what the hell makes you drive down the road in a car and not look at the other guy going about that, but when you're on a boat and you see that person, you wave to them.
Yeah.
There's an energy there, right?
Yeah.
There's a common thread that we're all connected by water, and we're not working, we're doing our thing, and we put everything else aside and we say, here we all are.
I got you.
Right?
Well, I do have a Joey Accardi Jeep. So there is this thing called a Jeep wave, right? So
There's a Jeep wave?
There's a Jeep wave.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yanni's a Jeep guy.
Right, there you go.
Wow.
See? All right. So, yes, it was kind of cute because I actually wrote a little story about
so for those of you that can't see Yanni, he did the Jeep wave.
It was cool. But, yeah, I think just enjoying what everyone has, you've connected it, connect by water. And George, George goes, I'm on some Zoom meeting committee with him on clean water, and we break up into little groups, and
that's right. You guys are on the reef committee.
Yeah. And George goes, "Hey, Chiefy, I know you.
Yeah,
you know Dr. Jack. Yeah, I know Dr. Jack. I mean, so we all.
Next time you say that, say, "Hey, George, we're connected by water." And he'll laugh. He'll laugh about that.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So the passion. I was very fortunate as a kid growing up. I was always near the water, right? And I didn't dive when I was younger.
Did you grow up here?
No, Long Island, New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Long Island. My mother's from Long Island.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
New Hyde Park.
Okay.
Little Island.
I was Baldwin.
Okay.
But I was very fortunate to come here and at 23 and get the
Perfect.
job.
Yeah.
So this was a good thing. Good shift.
Yeah.
And now everybody's coming here.
Well, yeah. Now it's kind of insane. I'm actually surprised that we have not gotten a siren yet. This is like the first episode we've ever done where there's been no siren. Usually it's like right as we start.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But no, I think you just you've hit a nerve with connected by water, I do believe that we need to do better things with the water, particularly the ocean.
100%.
And considering that we're under the water, we've seen how the reef really needs help. And, we talk about the reef track that we have, which is Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and Martin County. So that's the 4 counties that we're kind of working with. Keys have done a great job. They really have. So we're coming around. We're finally coming around. There's still people on septic sewer.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, they just left. So a couple of things about that.
Okay.
We have a friend of ours, our resident doctor that we bring on the show, Dr. Charlie Gregory, who runs the Reef Institute. He is tied in with the Clean Waterways Company, and he developed a technology that helps clean out our intercoastal waterways when we have sewage breaks.
Nice.
Through my friends Miles Foreman and John Lewis, who formulated that company, and then with Dr. Charlie Gregory, he's the science behind it all. They basically developed a protein skimmer like you'd have in an aquarium and to clean out the intercoastal waterways. But he has up in Palm Beach near Peanut Island a company called the Reef Institute, and they have learned how to grow reefs. Right. And they're on the forefront of doing this. So he's been on the show. If anyone's ever had a chance to go back and gets a chance, we'll go back and watch that episode. It's a highly educational video. But one thing that he said to me during this whole thing is that 2% of the coral reefs that are supposed to be alive are alive. 2. Yeah. That is a low number.
They're definitely hurting.
That is a low number. Yeah. And when he says 2, I believe him because he really has the data. That's tough to swallow.
Mm-hmm. Is that in Florida or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be worldwide. Actually, I'll have to get back to you on that one. Okay. But it's a low number, regardless whether it's Florida or worldwide. And Florida can't be doing much better than worldwide.
Yeah, I know. FWC's done a good job of promoting artificial reefs. We like diving artificial reefs. I don't know about you, Julie, but when I jump in on a wreck and I see it underwater, you kind of scratch your head like, what the heck? That's supposed to be up here and it's down here. But it holds a lot of fish.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes the pressure off of the natural reef, and you've got them right there. So we had a time there where Pompano, the seafood festival, they would actually sink a lot of wrecks. That's why they have Shipwreck Park here off of Pompano. Very fortunate. Lady Luck. What's the other one? Okinawa.
Yeah, the Okinawa.
Okinawa. Yep. So those are cool things. And John and Kyle Good, they've been a big part of that. So it's kind of a cool thing to see that there was a little bit of a down. They were going, hey, that's not good. Now they're back.
Yeah.
The artificial reefs are coming back, and I'm sure you're seeing them up by you, right?
Oh, yeah. We have rubble piles, wrecks, all sorts of stuff. Mostly rubble piles, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's good. It doesn't matter.
How does the diving up there compare to the diving down here?
Good question.
Completely different.
Is it completely different? I just clicked in my head. I'm like, wow, the shelf's a lot wider up there. It's got to be completely different, right?
Right. So for us, it drops off slower, I guess.
Yeah.
It stays shallower for longer the further you go out. Our water is consistently dirtier because the Gulf Stream is further out.
Okay.
The closer the Gulf Stream, the cleaner the water.
Yeah.
So Chiefy gets to swim in this crystal clear, beautiful water all the time, and then he comes up and goes, "Oh, the water's dirty today." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Fort Pierce, we're lucky.
10 for us.
We're lucky to have see the end of our gun half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gulf Stream's out a little further, which means sometimes we have less current. They do a lot of drift dives, where they literally use the current to go down the reef. Not to say that we don't get our fair share of current. But yeah, it's a lot different. We have a lot of rubble piles where they take pieces of bridge and they pile it up, and we shoot snapper, grouper, sheepshead, all sorts of stuff off that. We also have natural bottom in wrecks. I'd say it's fishier up by us, just because we have more bottom and are a little less money. There's a lot of people with money with boats going out where you are.
You have good point. Everything is so compact here. Like I said, a mile offshore, we're in 100 feet of water. I've got to go 14 miles in order to get to 90 feet of water in Fort Pierce, and it's not really a reef, so to speak. It's more rocky and ledges.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't see the soft, pretty corals and all of this.
Well, it's deep and it's dirty water, so the sun doesn't get down there
Yeah.
consistently enough to, I guess, have healthy coral.
Yeah.
Right.
But when you find a lobster,
Yeah.
That's the other thing is catching lobster with him. They're right there. They're
come on! Don't make it sound like
What
it's
do you mean?
that
What do you mean?
easy.
What do you mean right there?
They can maybe
They
back up
magically
and
show up.
they
All right,
can-
Steve.
Come on,
Steve,
you
can-
come on.
I think you can spot them from the surface. In Fort Pierce, the ledges. I
He's the
mean,
lobster whisperer.
they can zip up in around. Our ledges are a lot deeper and more complex, and I think the holes here are like this big, and only one lobster can fit in there.
You need more skill to pull them out of the water in Fort Pierce than you do down
It's a
here.
it's a two-man job.
Because of the tight crevices?
It's just they're deeper in,
Yeah,
and there's not as many of them,
but they're big.
but they're big.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do get bigger.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
They're big.
It's true.
Yeah, you're 5 feet. These ledges go back 5-10 feet.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So you one guy's got the flashlight on the other, and you're trying to
You
get
got to
in
team
there.
up on them?
There are
Oh, yeah.
several
Yeah.
lobster
Yeah.
that
Wow.
just won't be caught.
Yeah.
They just get into a hole. It's like, well, not getting that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are free diving for these mostly? No.
I do both. I
You do
free
both?
dive and scuba dive.
Okay.
For
Up there.
lobstering, scuba diving is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I normally go lobstering is it's down in Islamorada,
Right.
and
10,
it's 6 feet of
15
water.
feet.
Yeah. It's even more shallow than that. It's like, here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go. Gotcha. Yeah.
Don't
Kinda
give
easy.
away your secrets there.
Listen.
Dennis. Come on, will you?
I bring a shop vac, right? I keep it up in the boat. I just turn it on. There you
There
go.
you go.
We're all good.
Mark that one down. We got to try that out.
Steve, so we're talking about the going up to Fort Pierce, and they're saying, "Oh, it's fishier. It's fishier." Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it probably is. It gets a lot less pressure up there, but we've really, one thing we haven't talked about yet, they've done a really good job down here where we are bringing some of these fish back that we didn't see, 5 or 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The new regulations with the grouper and the hogfish and the snapper, they've really helped. We see
You
a
think so?
lot. I
yeah.
do.
With the American red regulations?
This is,
I don't know about the red snapper, but I'm talking about the mutton snapper.
The mutton,
because we
okay.
do a lot of hunting for
now,
mutton.
It's funny you bring up the mutton one, because Art was in here talking about it, and the way he said, the way they explained them, because there's a lot of regulations that he doesn't agree with. He goes, but the way he explained the mutton, he goes, that was one regulation that he really agreed with, because from 16 inches to 18 inches, you have a breeding time there, and then so just that 2 inches mattered for the reproduction of fish.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's like, okay, wait that extra 2 inches, and then that's going to bring back the fishery. And it looks like it's actually really working.
we'll go down there now and we will see and not shoot at sometimes 6 or 10, 16 to 17 inch muttons that they're all over the place now. And 5-10 years ago, you wouldn't see those. And they're getting a chance to get big. I was in the water yesterday. We saw 3 muttons over 8 pounds, 2 15-pound fish down there that we weren't lucky enough to put a spear in, but we saw them and they're there, right outside our inlet there at Hillsborough.
That's got to be a lot tougher to gauge as a spear fisherman than an angler about the 16 to 18 inches. Or are you so attuned at this point to be like, yeah, that's 18? Is it tougher to gauge underwater?
If you're unsure, then just
Don't shoot it.
Don't shoot
it.
Right. Everything looks bigger.
Okay.
Everything looks bigger underwater.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
probably the thing that you want to have in the back of your mind.
Okay.
So if you're in doubt, don't shoot.
Right.
That's what we always kind of
Gotcha. So like
preach.
driving, when in doubt, don't. Right. Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. And once you put a shaft in them, it's not like you can take the hook off.
That's
and
what I mean.
whatever.
So like when you're fishing, you catch like a 15-inch
Yeah.
mutton, you're
And
like,
I don't
throw it back.
Yeah, we don't want.
Can't really throw those back.
Yeah.
What you guys are doing?
But like, there's a couple little keys, with muttons anyway. If they got a big head, I'll shoot them. Okay.
Okay.
Now, hogfish, they kind of challenged us. It went from 12 to 16 inches, right? That's a big change.
Yeah.
And, used to be when you saw the big stripe, you'd shoot them, right? Because that was a male.
Mhm.
And you knew they were probably 14 plus, right? So more than 12. Well, now you're getting these 15-inch there. I mean, they look really massive. Doggone it. So now you really have to kind of pay attention. Is that more than 16? Red grouper, I don't really see as much of a challenge to shooting red grouper. But, right, Julie?
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Where do you guys draw that line of let's see if I can word this one correctly. Sportsman and conservationist versus like overreach on some of it. Do you feel that there's a lot of overreach in some of these categories? And it's interesting to ask you guys this because you guys are divers, right? And and you cross over to both. And you guys are both fishermen. You guys all fish too, right? So I mean, but you're primarily underwater.
We're usually
right? That's like your main deal. You kind of cross over to both, or
probably 50-50.
50-50,
I fished
right?
for 3 days, in that tournament, and then went diving yesterday.
Yeah,
so I got to get my fill of both.
That's kind of I like having you in this conversation at this point too, because we talk a lot. We bring on Art a lot, and and he's of the mindset of there's a lot of overreach. I tend to lean that way as well. But I'm also a conservationist at the same time. So I understand the need for it. You talked about the grouper regulations and you say it's good. You talk about, we don't know about the American red thing. And I think that's a little bit of an overreach situation, but, we can discuss sharks if you'd like to.
There's sharks in the ocean,
and your thoughts on the sharks,
really,
and the protection of the sharks. So where do you guys stand on a lot of these things?
Well, spearfishing gets a lot of credit for being very selective.
Yeah.
So when it comes to overfishing, you literally go down there, you see all the fish. I want that one for
There's
dinner.
no bycatch. Right. Where we see the fish, we shoot the fish. That's it.
Right.
And we pick what we want. We might
for it, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys going down. That's don't get me wrong by the way I set that
No.
up. I have a ton of respect for what you guys are going underwater and grabbing it with your own two hands here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do plenty of days where nobody pulls the trigger at all.
Yeah.
And we'll see plenty of fish, but they're just not the right one. They're not the right species. They're not as big as we want them to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely, very selective about what we shoot.
Right. And for me, it's all about, will I eat it? I don't know about you, but I like to eat fresh fish.
Sure.
So to me, as a diver, my conservation is I enjoy what I'm doing. I want it to continue. I like the ocean. I like where we are. I want those fish to be there. I want those lobster to be there. So I'm always about making sure we follow the rules. I think FWC does a decent job of regulating it, the science behind it.
Right.
I
think Rodney does a great job.
Absolutely. They've really done, and I think I look at, like, we're one of the more progressive states when it comes to that. And I think that's a good thing. People don't like regulations, hey, when you know how that goes, but it's necessary. Otherwise, we wouldn't have anything out here.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, there is something to be said because we do discuss it a lot of times to where maybe the scientists aren't listening to the anglers enough. Maybe they're making up their own research. Maybe they're fishing in the wrong areas and they're getting the wrong data. Particularly, a lot of people feel that way about the shark situation. And I heard you say, there's sharks in the ocean.
That was teasing.
I understand. I understand.
We've had a few shark experiences.
That's kind of what I'm asking. Like, have you recently noticed like an uptick in shark encounters? I mean, has it been less
drastic.
or more? I mean, drastic,
A
right?
little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of that.
Do you have thoughts on why?
My thought, I go right into it, is there are places that you can be here in South Florida, mainly Jupiter, where you can feed the sharks, and I am 100% opposed to that.
Okay.
That just
thank you for saying
rings the dinner bell if you're a diver, and I think that's part of the reason why they've become more aggressive.
Right. And in the Bahamas as well.
Yes. I don't
Like
know.
you can't yellowfin fish anymore there because of this.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how it's legal to teach sharks to associate people with food.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah.
I've had FWC yell at me for feeding pelicans my scraps,
Right.
because
Right.
I'm teaching a pelican to associate people with food. But it's legal for people to pay a lot of money to go hand feed
Not in
sharks.
state waters. You're prohibited from feeding sharks in state waters.
And,
So on the east side, which is the Atlantic side, is
Right.
3 miles. So 3 miles off of here, you're in 300
You're
feet.
deep. You're
So
too deep,
nobody's
yeah.
going to be feeding them here.
Right.
Right? They did at one time.
But aren't they doing that?
In the Bahamas?
north
Up near you?
north of here, and the Bahamas.
They're doing that up near you, though, aren't they?
Correct.
I think there's several places. Jupiter, everybody knows they do it in
Jupiter.
Jupiter.
Yeah.
But they go further out than 3 miles,
Right.
and they're still within a depth that you can dive it,
Mm-hmm.
but yet you're outside of state waters
Right. So they're skating the law
a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Steve, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just that they're more aggressive. There are so many more sharks.
Yeah, there are.
now.
ton.
And I, you've talked with people on the podcast before from a fishing perspective.
Right.
From a
This is exactly why I want to bring it up
yeah,
with you guys.
I mean, from a diving perspective, we see even when we're not spearfishing,
Mhm.
we see so many more sharks now than we did 10 or 15 years ago. And everything from, I mean, we see hammerheads now all the time on the second reef. We see bull sharks, even on the first reef,
Mhm.
out everywhere we go.
Lots of sandbars, I bet. All
Tons
over
of
the
them,
place, right?
reefies,
Ever since they lifted that regulation on
reefies everywhere. Even when we're not spearfishing, they're just there. And in the Bahamas, I mean, about the problems with the with the yellowfin tunas. You can't get one to the boat. But we have the same issue over in the Bahamas when we're shooting fish with the bull sharks and the reef sharks. They are just, I mean, people don't understand. We'll go over there for a weekend to free dive and spearfish, and I'll tell people we might see 500 to 700 sharks in our 3 days of diving.
It's
Every time we go down on a spot, if we're in Grand or Walkers or up in that area, there's multiple sharks. And just as soon as they start getting aggressive, you've got to leave, but they follow you around. There are so many of them. And, I'm all for conservation, but something's got to be done.
So this is thank you for saying I'm all for conservation, but something's got to be done. And I'm not trying to get on a soapbox during this episode. I'm just bringing up the matter because I wanted to get you guys' perspective on it because we do talk about it on the show quite often, but it's mostly from the fishing perspective. I always want to be fair and balanced whenever we talk about any subject that's controversial. I could be wrong. I'm not the expert. I went to art school, so I'm just trying to mediate the gang here. And what the conclusion I come to is that whenever someone says that sharks are endangered, I just laugh.
Yeah.
I
mean, I'm sure they are in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
Not here.
Not Florida.
Right.
Not Florida.
Right. Yeah.
And it's really sad in the Bahamas, like we talked about earlier. I grew up in the Bahamas, so a lot of those Bahamians are like family to me. They won't get in the water. They live on an island.
Yeah.
They don't feel comfortable getting in the water, and that, as most of them, that's how they make a living.
Yeah. I'm not going to jump in a lake here. I mean, for the same reason, but
right.
But
I mean, these people used to go collect conch for a living and not think anything of it, and now they're worried about the sharks collecting conch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should be able to do that without looking over your shoulder constantly. There was a month where I think there was 7 shark attacks in 1 month.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that were reported. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff doesn't get reported because tourism is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about shutting down the shark feeding, and they didn't. But I think there was one kid that got ripped apart by 2 tiger sharks in front of his parents.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's I don't know.
Just,
How long ago was
the ecosystem isn't in balance,
right?
So
that's the word.
Everything else is fished except for the sharks. It seems like, and there's just so many of them that shouldn't. If you get in the water and you see it once, whether and I see it from the diving perspective and the fishing perspective, right? It's not in balance. The sharks need to be fished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a commercial fishery for them, but they kind of made it to where you can't
So
really
you
make
can't-
money.
It's really difficult.
Well, yeah. So it's kind of like, where they're giving out oil permits for land that doesn't have oil,
Right.
kind of thing, right? So that's the only parallel I can come up with immediately. But I mean, it's kind of true. It's like, oh yeah, we brought on Thomas Osborne, okay, who is a longliner. He's a shark longliner, and and that's how he makes his living. He's fully licensed, and he's like the last one left,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the only one. We brought him on because there were these tiger shark divers or whatever, bull shark divers that wanted to pet the sharks and feed the sharks and everything like that. And they thought they were going to be funny, and they cut all his lines, which really was his livelihood. It's how he feeds his children. And we brought him on the show. And that's when we first met Patrick Price. And Pat Price was on the show a few times. We started the Facebook group called Fishermen for Marine Balance.
Yes.
I can't remember the exact name. Sportsmen Fighting for Marine Balance. And there was all kinds of things going on that page to try to promote it. Ultimately, the law outdid us on that page. And God rest his soul, Patrick Price lost his life to COVID, and it really affected the charge because he was the one spearheading the whole thing. But I will say, I just wanted to mention that because it's proper to mention that about Pat, but that he really was a champion on the forefront. And the word is that, listen, no one is out to say we need to go and murder all the sharks. I just want to make that perfectly clear. Like, no one's saying that we need to just eliminate this altogether and eliminate the problem or anything like that. All we're doing is just searching for balance. All we're doing is searching for balance and with regulation for muttons and all the other fish. All we're doing is searching for balance for the resurrection of the reef.
One of the things is interesting about sharks, and I've kind of wrote a whole chapter in there about predators.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I read the book, yeah.
You'll get to read the book, and I'm going to have a 100-question test for you. Okay, then you can come on to Chiefy to go diving. But
really,
yeah.
All right.
But here's the deal: everything's a predator under there. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I always consider, and again, I don't know, it's not boasting. We're the apex predators.
100%.
I am. I mean, I am. When I'm down there, I'm the apex predator. Okay. So when a shark comes at us, we've had a couple shark encounters. Like, hey, I'm not giving them my fish. It's my fish.
Right.
So we're not going to be stupid about it. We'll float fish up, right? And the boat will catch, grab the fish with a float, and then we're good to go. But you have to, if you're spearfishing, you have to recognize that, yes, there are sharks in the ocean, as I say, and they're going to be there. You just deal with it. Sharks do sense fear. I think that's one of the things I've kind of learned. And they're very, you can predict them. So you kind of keep an eye on them and show them that you're the boss.
Don't act like prey.
There you go.
Don't act like prey.
Right. Don't act like prey. I like that.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you can do is turn around and run.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. When you start flaring around, that's not a good thing.
I love it. I think I just named this episode Eat, Pray, Love. Nice. Listen, I really enjoyed you guys coming in here today and sharing your time with me. This has been wonderful. I mean, Julie, such a pleasure to have you in the studio. I mean it. And Chiefy, I got a feeling this is not going to be the last time you and I are going to be hanging out together. I really, really thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed you guys.
Thank you for having
today.
us.
This has been a lot of fun.
Great.
Been a lot of fun.
Great.
And I hope to bring you guys on again. If you'll so indulge me. So Steve,
Pleasure as always.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. So,
cool.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, and you'd want the best truck on the planet, or a Jeep, right?
For Jeep Waves.
Just how you do it. All right. So head on over to joeycardychrysler.jeepram and talk to our buddy Dean over there, and he'll hook you up. And like I always say, I can't make any promises, but if you do walk in there and say, hey, I heard about you guys on the Connected by Water podcast, you might get a better deal than most people would. Again, I'm not making any promises, but I think that's kind of how it goes. Right? And we've been drinking Papa's Pilar rum today. I know Steve drank all of it back there. That's probably why I didn't talk that much of it. It's cool. They remind you never to be a spectator. And I'm so proud to be associated with this company because they're keeping that Hemingway tradition alive. We'd like to thank our fine folks over at Papa's Raw Bar. Go over there and see what Troy and Cassie have going on. We're very proud to be associated with them. It's the best food on the planet. Certainly in town. And go and download their app, the EDBL Life app. Remind you to eat, drink, and be local. It's a $3.99 app, and it's worth every penny because it really does bring together the community and gives you the insight on everything that's going on from entertainment perspective. The Connected by Water Gallery is on there. So go ahead and get into that. And if you want a boat, we're going to be auctioning off Chiefy's 29 CV here at the end of the show. No, just kidding.
That's a good one.
Go on over to shop.cvboats.com. I designed their entire line of apparel. They call it the D Friel collection. When you order it, it comes out of our studio and we send it directly to you. Please, if you want to wear the coolest performance gear on the planet, go over to shop.cvboats.com. Right? Thank you guys once again for coming in.
Thank you.
Right?
Thanks, Dennis.
Hope to have you in here soon. Okay? Your ego, it's not your amigo. Always do your best, and at the end of the day, just let God do the rest. And do not ever forget that no matter where we are, buy the book, Catching the Bug.
Hang on.
2nd edition. What?
Oh,
He's going to sign one for me?
See?
After the ego is amigo. Look at that. Oh. Post ego amigo. And he floats my ego. Thank you very much.
wow.
That's the bug book.
Signed.
And hold on.
Oh. Numero dos from Chiefy. I love it.
All yours.
Thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Do not ever
Blast.
forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're all
Connected by water.
Thank you.